Hi guys, today I'm gonna narrate a super sci-fi movie called Lucy. You guys can watch this movie on Netflix, but as usual, if you don't have time to watch this movie for 2 hours, it's okay, I will summarize this movie in 15 to 20 minutes. So let's get into the movie. The movie starts by showing a monkey drinking water from a pond. Then the scene totally changes to our modern world, and now we are in Taiwan. Here our protagonist Lucy is introduced. She is standing outside a big building with her boyfriend Richard. Richard is holding a briefcase and asking a favor from her, saying, "Please, I want you to deliver this briefcase to Mr. Zhang who resides in that building." Lucy asks, "Why don't you do it?" "For that," he says, "I've already delivered it 2 times. I don't want people to suspect why or what I am delivering." Lucy asks what's in that briefcase. "For that," he says, "I don't know." Then Lucy rejects him. I'm not feeling good from our party yesterday, and I have a test to prepare for." From this, we can find out she is living away from her parents for studies in Taiwan. He is begging her, saying that they will pay him $1,000 for delivering this, and suggests they split it. He even tries to impress her by saying that the first ever woman is named as Lucy, but she is not accepting it, and she still asks what's inside it. He says just some paperwork. The briefcase has a cuff, so he suddenly cuffs her hand along with the briefcase. This enrages her, she yells and says, "Are you serious? Remove it." But he is not going to do it. He says, "Just go inside, go to reception and say I have a delivery for Mr. Zhang, that's it, simple." She begs him, but he doesn't care. So she doesn't have any choice. She goes inside the building and reaches reception, and says to the receptionist that she has a delivery for Mr. Zhang and that Richard sent it. She is terrified. The receptionist calls and speaks in Korean and then says to Lucy to wait for Mr. Zhang, he is coming. Then the lift comes down, and from inside we can see guards come out. She is scared. She turns and sees Richard, he is showing a sign that it's okay. Suddenly someone shoots Richard and kills him. She freezes before she can react. The guards pick her up. She tries to escape, but she can't. What I liked from the start of the scene to now is that they show clips of a mouse trying to eat cheese when Richard is speaking to Lucy, a deer getting deep into the forest when she gets into the building, and cheetahs hunting the deer when the guards get a hold of her. I like this comparison. She is terrified and begs the guards to let her go, but they don't care. They bring her to a room in that building. There, in a bathroom, she sees a corpse's leg full of blood. She starts to vomit, and a guard gives her a kerchief to clean her mouth. Then from the bathroom a man comes out where Lucy saw dead bodies, and he is none other than Mr. Zhang. He sits in front of her. She tries to explain that it's a mistake, that she shouldn't be here, but Mr. Zhang can't understand, he only speaks Korean. He calls someone on a landline to translate what she says. Then the translator asks what's in the box, as Mr. Zhang wants to know. She says, "I don't know, Richard gave me to deliver this case, that's all I know." Mr. Zhang goes out and orders the guards to shield themselves, then asks Lucy to open the box. He says, "I don't trust Mr. Richard." She asks why everyone is holding shields, is this a bomb? Mr. Zhang gets mad and yells, "If you don't open it, I will kill you." She opens it, but nothing happens. Zhang asks what's in it. She says that a blue powder is in pouches. Zhang smiles and comes inside and orders everyone to lower their shields. From this we can somehow understand that this is a drug and Mr. Zhang is a drug dealer or smuggler. He takes a little sample out for a test, and they even have a testing person for this. They bring in a drug addict to test it. He takes a sniff and instantly gets super high and starts to laugh, but Lucy feels sorry for how they treat him. He laughs, which makes everyone in that room laugh, but suddenly Mr. Zhang shoots him in the head and kills him. Blood splashes on Lucy's face. She is terrified and begs again to let her go, but Mr. Zhang has another plan for her. He offers her a job. She refuses, but it doesn't matter. Then a guard knocks her out, but as soon as she gets knocked out, the screen shows a number, 1%. We don't know what it is at the moment. Now the camera moves to a professor. He is taking lectures to his students about evolution and human brain usage. He says that animals use about 3 to 5% of their brain capacity. Humans use 10% of their brain capacity, and the only living thing that uses its brain more than humans is dolphins. They use about 20% of their brain capacity, that's why they can use sonar. We are back to Lucy. She is in a bed, and when she wakes up she can feel a sharp pain in her stomach. Then she sees that her stomach has been operated on. We can clearly see bandages wrapped around her stomach. Then guards come and ask her to come and meet Mr. Zhang. She goes and sees a doctor near Mr. Zhang and asks, "What have you done to my stomach?" The doctor reassures her by saying, "We did not harvest any organs, so don't worry. All we did is open your stomach, place a pouch full of drugs, and stitch it, that's all." She asks what it is, and he replies it's called CPH4. He says it's a powerful drug that European kids will love. The guards bring 3 more people into the room. They are also like Lucy, whose stomachs are filled with CPH4. The doctor gives them a passport for each of them and says that all they have to do is help deliver this drug to its respective places, and the doctor orders the guards to cover their faces. Now the camera moves to the professor. He speaks about time and says that brain cells, or generally cells, their whole goal is to survive through time, and for that they need to update themselves to everything happening around them, and for that they have 2 choices, immortality and reproduction. If a living habitat is harsh, then the cell chooses immortality to gain knowledge and survive. If the habitat is favorable, then the cells choose to reproduce so that they can pass down the knowledge to new cells and survive. Now we are back to Lucy. She can't see anything because her face is covered. She speaks to herself, saying, "Don't fear, just do what the doctor in Korean say." Then her head cover is removed by 2 thugs. One of the thugs tries to harass her, but she doesn't let him. So he gets angry and kicks her furiously on her stomach again and again. She is screaming in pain. The other thug stops him and takes him out, but because of his kicks on her stomach, the pouch inside her stomach is damaged, and the CPH4 drug leaks and starts to mix with her bloodstream, which causes a crazy chemical reaction inside her. She starts to have seizures. That's what I thought at first, but I don't know what's happening right now because she is defying physics and gravity. She starts to float when she is having seizures. We can clearly see that she can't control herself, and suddenly the screen shows 20%. Well, we still don't know what that percentage is trying to say. The camera moves to the professor. He is talking about possibilities or what-if scenarios, that what if our brain uses its capacity to 20%. He says that we can control our own body, and if our brain starts to use 40% of its capacity, then we can control other people, and then we can control matter, but it's all still science fiction only. Then a student asks, what if the brain uses its full capacity, 100%? The professor replies, I have no idea. We are back to Lucy. She wakes up, her eye glows blue for a moment. She sits on a chair. She looks and behaves differently. She doesn't move an inch until a thug comes inside. She tries to seduce him. That buffoon happily places his firearms on a table and removes his pants, but suddenly she attacks him and takes his belt to pull the table towards her to get her hands on the gun. Then she frees herself. Then she goes to the room where the thugs are having food. She instantly shoots everyone and kills them. She gets shot, but she doesn't care. She eats their food, it seems she is hungry, and takes their guns and goes outside. She is still in Taiwan. The plan is to smuggle the drugs to Europe using her, but the thug messes up Mr. Zhang's plan. Outside she sees 2 Asian cab drivers. She asks, do you speak English? And one of them says no. She shoots his leg, which makes the other one scared, and he says, I speak English. She orders him to drive her to a hospital. While she is in the cab, she can hear people speaking, it doesn't matter if they are near or far away. Then she reaches the hospital and searches for an operation theater. Her brain automatically translates the signs to her, which helps her to find the operation theater. When she finds the room, she goes inside while doctors are operating on a patient. They say, you shouldn't be here, but she sees the patient's x-ray and finds he is not going to survive, so she shoots him and says to the doctors that the tumor has spread to the spine and they can't save him. She orders them to remove the drug from her stomach and says, I don't need anesthetic, just do it. While they are operating on her, she calls her mother and says, I love you. I can feel everything. I can feel my body, my brain. I can access its memory. I can feel all the 1,000 kisses you gave me, and I can still feel the breast milk I had when I was a baby. She says goodbye to her mom. Then the doctors remove the drug from her stomach and ask Lucy what this is. She says it's a drug named CPH4, and the doctor says, wow, they really made it artificially. This drug is naturally produced by pregnant women in small quantities. This helps pregnant women by giving them energy to their womb to create a baby. The doctor says it's a miracle that she is still alive, and for that Lucy says, not for long. Then she gets out of the hospital and sees a tree that looks different. She can see inside the tree how the tree takes water, how the flow is inside the tree. Then she takes her gun and goes to the building where Mr. Jang lives, and kills every guard, stabs Mr. Jang's hand, and asks where he smuggled the 3 other people, but he doesn't reply. She says, it's okay, I will get the information from your memory, and grabs his head to access his memory. She finds out they are smuggled to Berlin, Paris, and Rome, and then she thanks him and lets him live. Then she goes to her friend's place to use her laptop. While there, when she touches her friend, she finds out her friend's kidney is failing. Then she uses the laptop to find what's happening to her, and she finds a person who knows what's happening to her right now. That person is none other than the professor. The camera moves to the professor. He reaches his hotel from his lecture, and while he is resting, his phone starts to ring. He takes the call and hears, Professor Norman, I'm Lucy. I read all your papers and I want to meet you. He smiles and says, what, you read all my papers? Lucy replies, yeah, I just read all 6,734 pages. He freezes and asks, is this Emily's friend? Is this some kind of prank? Lucy says no. Then the professor's TV is hacked by Lucy, and now he can see Lucy on the screen. She says that his theory is correct. She absorbed a large amount of synthetic CPH4, and now that could allow her to use her brain to its 100% capacity, but right now she can only use 28% of her brain. She says he is right, when a human uses its brain to 20%, it can control its own body. I am colonizing my own brain, and I am going to die soon. According to my calculations, I will die in 24 hours. She says she can also control other people's bodies and also control electric and magnetic waves. That's how she hacked his TV. She also hacked his phone, radio, and basic electronics. Then she says, I know everything now: science, physics, applied mathematics, and I don't know what to do. For that, the professor says she can pass on the information and knowledge, like a cell passes it to a new cell. She says, okay, I will meet you tomorrow. Then she writes a prescription for her friend and asks her to take the medicine. Now she is at the airport. Everywhere in the news they are talking about Lucy, so she changes her appearance because she can manipulate her own body. Then the camera moves to a police station in Paris. The police are talking to each other, having fun. Lucy calls that police station. An officer picks up and speaks. Lucy says she has information about drug trafficking, so is there someone with high authority? The officer says there is no one who has more authority than him in this office, jokingly. He thinks this is some kind of prank call. Then Lucy says his name and tells him to move from his table and pick the red pen on his left and write what she says. He panics and checks if someone is spying on him, but Lucy reassures him that there is no camera, so don't fear. She gives him information about the smugglers, where they are going to smuggle, when, and also says the drug is inside their stomach. The police officer contacts his fellow members and passes on the information. When the smugglers reach their destination in Berlin, Paris, and Rome, they get caught by the police, and the officials transfer the smugglers to Paris. Now we are back to Lucy. She is on a flight to Paris from Taiwan, working on a laptop at high speed. The old man beside her can't comprehend what she is doing. A female air hostess comes and asks her to close the laptop because the flight is going to land. But Lucy doesn't care. Instead, she says, take care of your nosebleed and get me a champagne, without even seeing her, and at that very moment the air hostess's nose starts to bleed. After she completes her work, she closes the laptop and takes a moment for herself. Then the air hostess comes and gives her a champagne. While drinking it, her tooth falls into the glass. She is shocked. Then her skin starts to peel, and then it starts to dissolve into fine powder. She gets scared and tries to move the particles, but it attacks the old man beside her and knocks him out. Then she stands up and goes to the restroom. The air hostess asks her to come out because the flight is going to land. She locks the door and sees in the mirror that her face is starting to melt. She realizes that she is dying, but she has to survive to meet the professor and share the knowledge, so she takes the CPH4 drug she has and starts to eat it, which stops her from melting, but her body is still dissolving. Her whole body bursts into fine particles, and the scene ends here. Now we see the police officer speaking with a doctor, asking about Lucy. It seems like she somehow survived, but she is unconscious now, and she is in a hospital. When she wakes up, we can see her eye adapting, and suddenly the screen shows 50%. Now we know what it means. Lucy can use 50% of her brain capacity. The nurse sees her when she wakes up, so she informs the doctor and the police officer. They come to arrest her, but with a simple swipe of her hand, she makes everyone sleep except the officer, but he is still holding the gun. Then the bullets start to fall from his gun. She comes near him and asks, "Where are the drugs?" "I want them." He says they are safe in another hospital, but she says it will be safe if it's with her and asks him to follow her. They get into his car and move to the hospital. When they are in traffic, she starts to see electromagnetic waves with her naked eye, and from that she finds out that the Korean drug dealer Mr. Jang and his crew are planning to attack the hospital and steal the drugs. She tells the officer to move from the driver's seat so she can drive the car. She drives the car in one-way route, so fast, because they have no time. She drives recklessly and also says this is her first time driving a car. In the hospital, Mr. Jang's crew go in and kill the officials surrounding the smugglers. Then they operate on them to remove the drug, but while they are operating, one smuggler is killed by the dealer because he is annoying to them. When they think they are safe, one officer comes into the room. When he sees the dealers, he shoots one of them, then the dealers shoot and kill the officer, but the officer used a normal gun, so the sound alerts the hospital and other officials. When the dealers are distracted, the last smuggler tries to escape by running, but they shoot and kill him too. But I think it's too late for them because Lucy is already there. One of the dealers takes the drugs from the two dead bodies of the smugglers. When he comes out from the room to take the drug from the third one, he sees Lucy. She says, "Give the drugs." He laughs and orders the guards to kill her, but with a simple swipe of her hand, their firearms get stuck to the ceiling like a magnet. Then they try to attack her with their bare hands, but they also start to float and get stuck to the ceiling. They can't move. She takes the drugs from him, then she takes the drug from the third smuggler and puts it inside the briefcase, then asks the police officer to take her to the professor. When they are on their way out, Mr. Jang sees her and asks his driver to follow their car. The camera moves to the professor. He is in his university with his colleagues like scientists, physicists, and doctors. He gets a call from Lucy. "Are you in Paris?" As he speaks, Lucy opens the door and gets inside with the officer and says hello. When he tries to introduce his colleagues to Lucy, she says she knows all of them. Then a colleague asks how they can believe what she says is true. For that, she reads his memory and says how his daughter died. Outside the university, Mr. Jang and his crew are readying their firearms to kill Lucy. Lucy says to the police officer that Mr. Jang and his crew are outside. "I need to focus here," so she asks him to protect her, and he agrees. Then he calls for backup. Inside the university, scientists are asking her questions after questions. She tells them everything she knows, how her powers work and why they work. She explains in detail and also says that our simple rules that we created, like addition and subtraction, are not real. She says that humans use mathematical calculations to measure or govern our life, but it's false. She says time is the only thing that governs everything. Time gives proof to the existence of matter. Time should be the thing that we need to use as a measuring unit. Then she says she can reach 100% of her brain capacity if she takes the remaining drugs. As they speak, the crew comes inside and starts to shoot everyone. Then the police also start to shoot them. A fight erupts outside their room. The scientist turns the powder into liquid so that she can easily take it in. When she takes all the drugs, her brain starts to work fast. Now she can easily manipulate matter. She is trying to connect to the computer because she is planning on sharing the knowledge through which the current generation can easily access it. As the fight goes on outside, she creates a computer inside the room. Outside, Mr. Zhang orders the crew members to use an RPG, but it's hard for them because whenever they try, an officer shoots them. But at last, a member gets hold of the RPG and shoots at the room, and boom, the room's door explodes, everything moves slow, and Lucy's brain starts to use 90% of its capacity, so her consciousness starts to travel through time and space. She travels to Paris and sees the Eiffel Tower, then she travels to an island, then she travels to New York Times Square. Suddenly she stops time, then reverses it back to the 80s or 90s before Times Square was built. Then she reverses back to the time when Native Americans lived. It's funny how they look at her like, where did she come from? Then she reverses the time back to the Cretaceous period. When she is enjoying the beauty of that place, she sees a dinosaur feasting on its prey, and when it sees Lucy, it runs towards her to eat her, but before it can do anything, she escapes through time. Now she is in a pond in front of a monkey. This is the monkey we see at the start of the movie. When she touches the monkey, she starts to travel back in time so fast. She sees how our world comes into existence, how our galaxy comes into existence, how our universe comes into existence. As she gathers every knowledge, her brain usage goes up to 95%, but that's when we find out Mr. Zhang is inside the room and pointing his gun at Lucy's head. Lucy is now traveling back to the time of the Big Bang, the beginning of everything, and when her brain reaches its full capacity, 100%, she sees the starting point of space. In the room, Mr. Zhang shoots Lucy, but she instantly disappears. He is confused and points the gun at the scientists and the professor and asks where she is, but before he can shoot them, the officer comes inside and shoots him. Mr. Zhang is dead. The officer asks, where is she? As he asks, his phone rings. He opens it and sees a message saying, I'm everywhere. This shows that Lucy didn't die, but she merged with space and time, or we can say now she is an omnipotent being. Then the supercomputer she built gives out a pen drive to the professor, which holds the secrets of the universe, and the movie ends here. Lucy is one of those movies that just grabs your attention and doesn't let go. It's not just a normal action film, it mixes action with big ideas about the human brain, time, and what we could become. That what if we used 100% of our brain concept is what makes the movie really interesting from the start. Scarlett Johansson did a great job as Lucy. The way she slowly changes from a scared, normal girl into someone completely powerful and emotionless feels very natural, and I really liked the character development throughout the movie. Morgan Freeman also adds a calm and intelligent presence, especially in the scenes where he explains things. It balances all the chaos happening. The movie is fast, like really fast. There's always something going on, so you won't feel bored at all. The action scenes are solid, and the visuals near the end are pretty wild and different from typical movies. I also really liked the cinematography, it made a lot of scenes feel more intense and unique. That said, the science in the movie is not accurate at all. It's more of a cool idea than something real, so if you think too much about logic, some parts might feel a bit off. Also, the ending happens very quickly, like everything just escalates all of a sudden. Still, as an overall experience, it's very entertaining and makes you think a little too. My rating is 9 out of 10 for this movie. If you liked the story, subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon.